Late last year, a study came out that looked at the rate of vegans and vegetarians in the US population. And some of the data was a little bit discouraging, but there was definitely room for feeling of encouragement as well. What the study found was that right now just 2% of Americans are vegan or vegetarian. However, I've actually seen data that suggests that millennials are much more likely to be vegan or vegetarian, upwards of 20%. But overall, US population, about 2% are vegan or vegetarian. But 10% are former vegans and vegetarians. So that means that 30 million people, roughly 20 to 30 million people, have tried the lifestyle. Now, it also means that they didn't stick with it, and that's kind of a problem. So the study actually looked at why. And I think the most interesting result of all was that of former vegans and vegetarians, 63% identified that they didn't like that their diet, their choice, made them stick out in the crowd. That's huge. That was the number one reason cited why people fell off and stopped their vegan or vegetarian lifestyle. The second most common reason was living with a significant other that was not vegan or vegetarian. So that social pressure kind of led to some meat creeping back into the diet. Now, of course, former vegans and vegetarians likely still consume less meat than the average American, and that's definitely a good thing and a step in the right direction. However, I think we can really learn a valuable lesson from why people fall off the vegan diet. Now, I'm not actually going to quit veganism. I believe in it for so many reasons, and I love it, and I love the way that it makes me feel. So I'm not actually quitting it. That was a little bit of a, a little tease, but it speaks to a bigger point. And in order to do anything important in life, I feel like you have to kind of be willing to be weird. That's kind of like my catchphrase: be willing to be weird. You have to go against the grain sometimes to see real change. Civil rights is a good example, Rosa Parks went against the grain and looked weird to her peers sitting in a place on the bus where she didn't need to sit. We need to be willing to stand up for the things that we believe in and be okay with the fact that we look a little bit weird. Now, I bring fruit everywhere that I go. So like if I go and hang out with friends, I'm bringing bananas, oranges, apples, mangoes, whatever I have on hand, dates, whatever it is, I'm bringing it with me. And I'm also bringing a giant water bottle, and I'm sure I have friends that think I'm weird. But it's important to me. Like, my health is important to me, and the health of the planet and the animals is incredibly important to me. So I'm willing to be weird. I'm willing to look a little bit strange. But of course, the other major point that this speaks to is that in most of these cases, these people actually didn't know a single other vegan or vegetarian. Now that is real. That is really isolating. And unfortunately, when only 2% of the population at any given point is vegan or vegetarian, the odds aren't great that you're going to know another person who follows that lifestyle unless you work for it. So that's my takeaway point. If you are already vegan or vegetarian, reach out. You can reach out to me, send me an email, and we can connect online. Or find an online community. If you live in a major city, I can pretty much guarantee you that there is a meetup.com group for vegans and vegetarians. They do potlucks, they get together, they go to documentaries together, whatever it might be. You can find that social support. And then lastly, I'll just close with this. This point is true even if you have no interest in being vegan or vegetarian, because any reduction in the animal products that you consume is good for the animals, the environment, and for your health. So even incremental changes and reductions can be helpful. And in general, when you're trying to live a healthier lifestyle, you need to be willing to be weird. It's not normal to be healthy in this country. I mean, I've shared a lot of the stats in other videos, but 20% of Americans exercise. 15% or less consume 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. 99% don't consume enough whole grains. 98% not enough beans. It's weird to be healthy in this country. So when you start to stand up for your own personal health, you're gonna look weird. It's just a fact. And it's something that I think if we can get more comfortable with, it only helps bring other people along with us. You'll only be weird for so long. Look, the trend is moving in the direction of more vegans and vegetarians. As I mentioned, millennials are much more likely to be vegan or vegetarian. It's going to get much easier. It already has in the 7 years that I've been vegetarian. There's way more options eating out. There's better tasting substitutes if that helps you transition. And there's more and more people that follow this lifestyle. So it's only going to get easier. But right now in 2015, if you want to be healthy in America, you have to be willing to be weird.